This is 9/11 Truthcraft, Episode 1, Rebuilding Ground Zero. 9/11 Truthcraft is a video series for people like me who want to find out what really happened on 9/11. I know for a lot of you, simply seeing 9/11 Truthcraft or 9/11 Truth anything is going to bring up a lot of images of some angry people, some anti-government people, basically what you would call conspiracy theorists. And let me tell you that that is not what this show is going to contain. In fact, there will be almost no discussion whatsoever of any kind of a conspiracy. Now, conspiracy is merely a secret plot between individuals to commit a crime. And yes, there was a conspiracy. Certain groups conspired to destroy the World Trade Center Tower and attack other cities across the United States on September 11th, 2001. Guaranteed there was a conspiracy. It's just that I personally won't be speaking very much of a conspiracy because I don't study it. I mean, maybe at the very end I will get into some kind of questions of who did it and why they might have done it, etc. But right now what I am studying and what I've been studying since it happened really was not the question of who did it, but rather what happened. Some people think that it's already known what happened on 9/11. Some people, I guess, trust that the United States government would get the answer right with the 9/11 Truth Commission, but I think they got it wrong. I think that if you read the 9/11 Commission report, it's terribly inaccurate. It only studies a fraction of the evidence that is available. And in my opinion, they've come to vastly inferior and incorrect conclusions about what did happen. So again, I'm not studying who did it. What I do is I study what happened. And, you know, from a forensic standpoint, one of the first things that you do when you are studying a crime is you make a map of the crime scene. Which brings me to the issue of why I'm using Minecraft to create a map of the crime scene as opposed to any other tools that might be available. And that's because Minecraft does well at taking a look at large areas. The issue of scale is an important issue. In Minecraft, you can actually see many different buildings and their layouts of the buildings in a real easy and easy to approach way. And so instead of using other programs which might be able to simply, maybe computer-assisted drawing, or other programs that might be able to make a diagram of ground zero, I'm not doing that. I'm using Minecraft because Minecraft has the ability to zoom in, zoom out, take a look at buildings from all kinds of different angles. And so, it does have some merit. Minecraft has some flaws too. One of the flaws is that you can only build with 3-meter blocks, which means that anything that's smaller than a few meters tall is going to be sort of distorted. But it's perfect for buildings. Buildings, are much, much larger than 3 meters tall. And yes, you have to scale the buildings properly and things like that, but you can really achieve a very good copy of, you can achieve a very good map of large spaces and lots of buildings using Minecraft, which is what I've done. Here you see I'm taking a look at a few buildings as I'm constructing them and their relationship to ground zero. And yeah, you might think, oh gosh, this is a lot of blocks. You're building ground zero. You're rebuilding ground zero as it was on 9/11? And the answer is yes. I'm having to omit a lot of buildings. I'm having to omit a few buildings, but really the buildings closest to ground zero within several blocks are the most important. So those are the ones that I'm focusing on. What you can do in Minecraft is get a very good idea of the relative position and size of the buildings in the area. And so that's what I intend to do with it. Here you can see more video of me building my strategies for building. How am I going to accomplish this? It's not just one building. It's dozens of buildings that I need to get right. And I need to get the issues of scale right. I can't represent ground zero and have major errors in the scale of the buildings and their positional relationships. So I've been using a lot of Google Maps, also, other online maps of the area. But the truth is that I live in New York City, and several times I've gone down to these spaces and taken a look recently, and taken a look to make sure I'm at least getting the essence of those buildings correct. And so here you see, for the first time, you see kind of the main part of the build. This is the World Financial Center, and this is really one of my favorite areas in the build so far. Here's World Trade Center 3. This building has such a story, and almost no one knows about it. And I think the reason why almost no one knows about it is because the scale of the damage was so large, it was difficult to comprehend. And Minecraft you can get a really good understanding of large-scale objects with Minecraft. Here I'm going straight up to show an overhead view of what I've accomplished so far, and you can see that I've numbered the World Trade Center buildings, except for 1 and 2. 1 is on the left, 2 is at the bottom, but the buildings 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are numbered, and I numbered them because they are often overlooked. The damage to, everyone thinks of the World Trade Center as being 2 tall buildings, but in fact it was 7 buildings. And all 7 of those buildings were almost entirely destroyed. And other buildings in the area were also destroyed and damaged. But they were damaged in a very particular way, and we're going to take a look at that. Here is where 9/11 Truthcraft will begin in the next episode. It's not the beginning of my personal story, but that is Rockefeller Park. So right here I'm building building the roofs of some buildings near Rockefeller Park, and I'll let you know later why that is where the story begins. But essentially I wanted to cover the whole area of what's called the dust cloud rollout. And if you don't know what that is, please stay tuned. I will explain everything. Here this is an example of the issues of scale that I was speaking of. Minecraft gets buildings good, trees are pretty good in scale, but I wanted to build some tennis courts that were where they're actually located. And I built them too big. So I went in there and I rescaled them much smaller, and as you see, it really does fit the size of the area in ground zero where they actually are pretty well. This is an area that's just north of ground zero. You see the Hyatt on the left. This is my technique of lighting the area when possible, is that I use the trees as lights. And these tennis courts are here today. You can go and take a look at them. Again, here's a shot of this area. There is a baseball field in the area too, although this one is somewhat larger than it is in real life. It's at least properly situated. And yep. So, okay, here we go. So I'm kind of finishing up the lighting on the World Financial Center, and really this is my favorite area of the map so far because the buildings are so beautiful. It's on the water, and as in real life, there's boats that are parked there. Or I guess docked is the proper word. You don't park a boat, you dock a boat. And there are always beautiful boats docked there. And so essentially I just wanted to make this video to give you an idea of the effort that's gone into this, the rebuilding of Ground Zero, and the idea that, hey, I might be able to accomplish something here. Here are some early pictures of as I sort of was designing the map, making sure where the buildings were placed. Here's an important parking lot. Again, World Financial Center. Another overhead shot with all the 7 buildings numbered, so that in future episodes we can take a closer look at what happened to these buildings. Here's the underneath of World Trade Center 4, 5, and 6, and this is an issue of scale. You have to be able to evoke what those spaces and buildings looked like without actually, getting it exactly right, because you only have 3-meter blocks to design. But so this whole map has been a labor of love. It's been a lot of effort, but I've enjoyed myself so far. I really do want to get a good YouTube series on, and I really do want to use this map in the future to investigate some issues that I think are important when it comes to understanding what exactly happened on 9/11. So here's the before and after shots of the scaled down tennis courts to the north of Ground Zero. There you go, looking good. Some other shots of the build as it has been happening. Basically, I do the frameworks of the buildings first, then I go in and do the windows, then I go in and do the lighting. So that's my overall strategy, and I still have several dozen buildings left. I haven't finished this build, but I'm not going to wait until I completely finish the entire build before I begin the series, because I want to get going right away. 9/11 Truth is an important topic to me. It's people are, almost 12 years later, people still don't really know what happened on 9/11, and I am determined to discover it. There's some things I haven't told you about myself, and you're just going to have to stay tuned in order to get the whole story, because this, I can only tell the story in bits and pieces. But the gist of it is that I live in Ground Zero. Now, recently I moved away, but for many years I lived very close to Ground Zero. And this is more than just a tragic event that happened a long time ago. This happened to my neighborhood. This happened to my home. My home was changed permanently because of the September 11th attacks. And so far no one, including myself, has come up with a proper explanation for the events of the day. So this Minecraft series, 9/11 Truthcraft, is a part of my continuing efforts to discover what happened on 9/11, and I hope you like the series. Next time, I will give a proper introduction to the map and begin the real show. And if you like the video and you want to see more, make a comment, like, subscribe, and donate, because that's how YouTube works. And if you'd like to contact me, you can contact me at my email address at scientistpolitician@yahoo.com, or make a donation on PayPal. I'm not a political scientist. I'm a scientist who studies important political issues. Okay, good night. Tune in next time.